Hi, everyone. Welcome to your Messy Brilliance podcast. I'm really excited to be here today with my friend and the incredible woman, Christine Hassler. So
Aw,
welcome, Christine.
thank you. Thank you so much for having me back. Thanks for playing with me
Oh,
again.
I'm really excited to talk to you. You've been such an incredible support to me, and you're a truth teller at Women for One. And I really love everything about you because you walk your talk, and I think that's a really important aspect of women and tribe. So thank you for being here. So
Yeah.
for those of you that don't know who Christine is, you need to know her. She's amazing, and
Mhm.
she's an author. And she's a life coach and a spiritual psychologist all in one that has created very simple tools to help us move forward in our lives. She's also the author of 3 books, which the most recent one, which I love, and I'm reading it because I know it's Expectation Hangover, but I want to read the tagline: Expectation Hangover, free yourself from your past, change your present, and get what you really want. And that's really what we all want, is to get what we really want and to free ourselves from our stories. So I don't want to go into a really long explanation of who Christine is because we've done several interviews. What I'd love for you to do, Christine, is to talk to us a little bit, and let's have a conversation about who
Yeah.
you are, how you became a life coach, and then let's move into what you're doing right now.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll kind of just talk to like who are my people
Yeah,
and like if you're
perfect.
listening, you're in the right place. So if you can relate to being a high achiever, if you can relate to being hard on yourself, if you can relate to really like feeling this desire to feel fulfilled and like getting close and having certain aspects of your life, but maybe not others. If you can relate to putting a lot of pressure on yourself, if you can relate to knowing that you shouldn't care what other people think, but you do. If you can relate to comparing yourself to other people, even though you know you shouldn't, but you still do. If you can relate to feeling overwhelmed or anxious any of the time, then like you're my
Me?
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, totally. I get you. And why I do what I do is because I never thought, based on all those things I just said, me being an overachiever, depressed, anxiety, compared to everything, that I could feel as fulfilled as I do today, even without some of the things that I want in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like even without, for example, like right now in my life, I'm single and my preference would be to be in relationship, but I don't suffer in that. So I've figured out a way to feel fulfilled no matter what from the inside out. And that sounds really good in terms of words. And it was something that was explained to me was possible by my coaches and teachers. And I was like, I don't know, like that, whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
I really, things in life make me happy. I don't believe that I can just like what am I supposed to go meditate on a mountain and feel fulfilled? Like that's BS. But it really comes down to having the kind of relationship with myself that consists of kindness and gentleness and compassion, so that I'm not looking for anyone or anything outside of me to make me happy. And I can still pursue goals, but not think that the goal is going to make me happy. And I feel this tremendous responsibility to share what I've learned with as many people as I can, because I feel like I got blessed to have the teachers that I've had and the experiences that I've had and the training that I've had to get me to where I am,
Mm-hmm.
that like I just want to like scream it from the rooftops as much as I
That's
can.
so awesome. You feel compelled. I know I
I
can
feel
relate to that
compelled.
feeling. And I think all women, if they feel compelled, we need to be telling each other how we've
Absolutely.
learned this, right? And
Absolutely. 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 And, I'm still learning. Like, and that's the thing. We never are there. We
mm-hmm.
never are there. But just to give you like a tiny example, at 11, I was put on antidepressants and told you will need these the rest of your life. And at 30, I got off of them and have never looked back. And it's possible to shift things about yourself that you've just accepted as part of you when really they may not be. Like
Right.
we've adopted these personas and we put on these masks and we think it's who we are. And then we reach a point where it's like, wait a second, is it really who I am?
Right.
I was just, yeah, yeah. It can be scary because without that persona, without that mask, it feels very
You
vulnerable.
feel very but that's beautiful, right?
Yeah,
That's where I'm talking about, diving into your mess, feeling a little vulnerable and getting
totally.
curious about it. Correct? Is that
Yes,
what you encourage your
yes.
clients to do and the people that you work with?
Yes, getting curious about it, and also not trying to analyze it. Not trying to go.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I love that because there's so many therapists out there. I mean, my mom's a PhD psychologist, and I have a lot of respect for PhD psychologists. But there's a place where it's like you can go down the rabbit hole and then you get lost.
You get lost, and then you can even feel more frustrated because you can psychoanalyze yourself and explain yourself to death, but you still don't feel different and your life isn't changing.
Right.
And that's frustrating because you even have even more information and more understanding, but things still aren't changing. And then you feel like you fail at personal growth and personal development and therapy.
And that's one more thing you're failing at.
One more thing.
And that you're stressed about. Right.
Exactly.
So do you find that people come to you? What are the normal issues, like the general issues people come to you with?
Man. At this point, everything, especially after doing the podcast.
Oh, that's right. Okay, just let me stop. I did not talk about that. You have an incredible podcast over and on with it. And it's amazing. Like everybody's listening to it. So please go and listen to Christine's podcast. I love it. I listen to it. It's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. I coach people live on the air, and it's like, it's awesome. The degree of vulnerability and courage that people come onto these calls with. It's so cool. And now I've forgotten the question.
Sorry, but I just like, what are the main issues people come to you with?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I got I was so wrapped up in that. So let's see. I could sum it up as a lot of them are having expectation hangovers. So something didn't go according to plan. You do check everything off your list. Things do go according to plan, but you don't feel like you thought you would. You still don't have the fulfillment that you thought you'd have. Or life just throws you an unexpected curveball. You get laid off, you get divorced, you get diagnosed with an illness. So that's a big one. And then also the feeling of feeling stuck, like knowing you should do something, but you can't seem to do it. Or feeling a lack of clarity about something, like you feel a call, you want to change something, a relationship, a career, something, but you don't know what to shift it to. A lot of people that really suffer from anxiety, depression, those types of things, and they've tried traditional therapy and they just can't, they can psychoanalyze, but they're not shifting. Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking to that, in your book, Expectation Hangover, can you speak about that just for a minute? Because I love that expression.
Sure. Well, I kind of define what it is, and they happen. They aren't just random. They always happen in service to us, which is really a hard pill to swallow, because when you're like, wait, how is losing my job in service to me? Like that is not, that's not a good thing. However, whenever we have an expectation hangover, we have an opportunity to do a massive healing and to really look at, why it happened. Not from the sense of why did it happen to me like a victim, but why is this happening for me? And what can I learn from this?
Oh, I love that. Wait, let's stop. Why is this happening for me? I love that, because I talk about victimhood as well, and I've never heard it expressed that way. Why is this happening for me?
For me.
Instead of to me.
And
so
to
it's not
me.
being done to you. Right.
Exactly. Because then you're not in the victim. And the cool thing is, like, that doesn't mean you have to like it. Like, we're all about the messy brilliance, right? So if you just got dumped or laid off, or, you know, your kids left for college and you have an empty nest and you're sad about it, or whatever it is, you're going to want to, and that's the other thing I love teaching is emotional release work, how to really have a healthy relationship with your emotions and not suppress them. So if something quote unquote bad happened, of course you're going to be angry. Of course you're going to be sad. Of course you're going to have your natural human responses to that. That's sort of the first part and kind of my treatment plan for dealing with an expectation hangover. But we can't sit in that and victim. Eventually, we learn how to release those feelings. We have compassion for ourselves. And then we kind of start to investigate, wow, this isn't the first time I felt this way. Like, what's the thread back to this? Is like, we'll use the layoff opportunity. So is me getting laid off a thread back to me being not picked for that club in 8th grade when I formed a story of I'm not good enough? Or, you know, like, what feelings is this reminding me of? And what is being laid off showing me in terms of what do I think about my self-worth, or how am I showing up in a company, or whatever it is? Like, because again, and this is, and I'm not being woo-woo here. This is science. This is law of attraction. This is psychology. This is kind of everything boiled into one. Every difficult opportunity we have on some level, we've created it. very
Yes.
unconsciously. And the sooner we can take responsibility, not with self-blame, that's the catch, but the sooner we can take responsibility and go, I move into acceptance. I don't love this,
Right.
but I'm willing to use it as
It might suck, but it's okay.
Really sucks. It really
Yeah,
sucks.
I know. But
remember
not
when I
being
was
a
going
why
through-
me victim around
Exactly.
it. Right.
When I was going through my divorce, someone said to me, milk this for all it's worth. And I thought he was talking about alimony. I'm like, we're not even having attorneys. Like, what do you mean? And he was a super spiritual guy. I'm like, that's a weird thing to say. And what he was talking about is that divorce wasn't just about my ex-husband. It was, I needed to look at how I showed up in the marriage. Every time I felt like a failure in the past, every grief that I've had, every broken heart that I've had, that like I never really healed because I just went from one relationship to the next my whole life.
Right.
And so it really had a profound impact on me, because when we milk an expectation hangover and we really go for the learnings, then we don't have to experience the same one again. Like, I'm confident I won't go through another divorce. I'm confident that I won't, and so then I don't have the fear of getting married again, because I know that I milk that for all it's worth.
That's awesome.
You know? So when we are hurt, when we are disappointed, especially those of us that are high achievers and like things in order and make our bed every day and, do a lot and are multitaskers, we want to get on with it as soon as possible. We want to just move through, be strong, and just get on to the next thing and get on with life. But we sweep a lot under the rug when we do that.
Yes. The avoidance. Yes. That's awesome. So for those people, I have a lot of people in my community, and I've met a lot of women like this where they're like, I don't really have a disappointment. I just have this blasé feeling about my life.
Nothing's
like
really wrong, but nothing's
really wrong, but I'm still like, I need something. So that's why I'm reaching out to you. What would you say to them?
Right. That something is wrong. Because if you feel blasé, there's something wrong, right? Because you shouldn't feel blasé, no matter how old you are, where you are in your life. As women, we are creators, we are passionate, we are fiery, we are messy, so if you're feeling blah, that usually means that there's been years of suppression or repression of not only your feelings, but your voice, your gifts, your creativity, your sexuality. There's been a lot that you've just kind of been not acknowledging.
Right.
And you've been going through the motions of your life, and you've been being good, and you've been checking off boxes, and you've been doing what you're supposed to do, and you've had the job or the kids or the husband or whatever, but you've never stopped and gone, what do I really want?
Exactly.
What lights me up? Like if I could just authentically speak and do whatever the F I want, what would that be? And because we're so concerned with what other people think of us and doing it right, and we have so much fear of uncertainty and loss of control, and we just don't give ourselves permission. Right. So if you're feeling blasé, my question to you is, what are you not giving yourself permission to do or say or
I'm
be?
writing that down. Permission to do or say. Right.
Yeah.
It's a great question.
I have so many people that call in for the podcast or come to retreats and whatever, and they think they're looking for my advice. They already know, Kelly. They do. Already know.
That's what my book says. You already have all the answers.
Know.
I'm not here to tell you the answers. You have the answers. Yes.
Nope. And
you just have to ask the question.
You just have to ask the questions and give yourself permission. So Kelly and I are giving you permission. We're giving you a big pink permission slip today, and encourage you to start giving yourself that permission because it's your life, and I have, I just coached a mother on my podcast. Her daughter's, it was a failure to launch situation. Her daughter's 28 and still living at home. And she called in and is like, what can I do to help my daughter leave? And I'm like, this really isn't about your daughter. This is about you and your need to be needed. And
that's what I love about you. You're direct, right? You're right to the point. And if someone's open, they're going to hear that. They're going to hear that.
And I was gentle. I'm gentle.
Yeah, she's not harsh. I'm more harsh than you. So
I was just giving you the Cliff Note version. Yeah. You guys go listen to the podcast. It was, I don't know the episode number, but it was.
Maybe we'll get that for the email.
But it's like a lot of times we put ourselves in situations, and are feeling a blasé feeling because we're getting something from that too. We're feeling safe. We're not upsetting other people. We're honoring the status quo, things like that. So yeah, if you're feeling blasé, you got to shake it up a little bit. And if you're feeling that nothing's wrong, but nothing's right either, that's not life. That's not living. That's being asleep.
Grab your life by the reins. I agree. So you have this free masterclass. Let's talk about it, because maybe when people sign up, they can do that.
Yes. So on October 11th, I'll be teaching a free masterclass. It's online. There will be replays if you can't make it live, but there's cool bonuses if you do make it live. And so I'll start with my why. As I shared before, I really, really never thought I could feel the way I do on the inside and create the life that I have on the outside. And so I have spent I got started life coaching in 2004. So for the past 13 plus years, I have been a student and a coach, but continuing to learn. And it wasn't until last year that I've kind of figured out how to take everything from my master's degree program to my coaches, to the trainings, to my own experience, to like just what I have created myself, and been able to put it into a system and a treatment plan to really, really help people get over it and on with it, get over anything from their past and on with what they want to create. And so in the masterclass, the first thing I'm going to be teaching is the number one frustration that I feel with all people, especially smart people, is they've read the books, they have the awareness, they've done some work, but things still aren't changing. Why? Why? And we're going to answer that. We're going to answer why you're stuck, like why you're still stuck. And you're going to get
I'm on there, by the way. I'm getting on. Yeah, definitely.
Good.
Yes. I'd like to know why.
Yes. I mean, don't we all?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the key, is the knowing the why you're still stuck in a way that will not only explain why you're stuck, but it'll start to explain why your life looks like the way it does. And then we start to move into, so the other thing I've learned as a coach is that only 3 to 5% of our behavior is consciously driven. So that means like 95% is unconsciously driven, meaning so much of what we do is habitual. So much of what we do is conditioned response. And usually that conditioned response is based on our wounding. Yep. So I'm going to teach you what your compensatory strategy is. You're going to learn what that is. And I'm also going to teach you what your avoidance trap is. And I'll give you a clue as to what that is. So again, as a coach, people come and they talk to me about what they want. But what I've noticed is they spend more time and energy avoiding what they don't want.
Okay, wait. Let's slow that down, because I want to understand that. They tell you what they want when they come to you, but then they spend talking to you. They spend more time and energy on what, like just talking to you. An example, maybe?
Right. So like in their life, they spend more time avoiding what they don't want. So let's say someone comes to me and she's like,
I do that.
Yes.
Okay.
So yes. And believe me, I've done all this. How do you think I came up with these tools? I had to get myself out of all this crap. So yeah, I'm my own best, I'm my own best research laboratory. I do not teach anything that doesn't work for me. I swear.
I agree.
So let's say your kids are gone.
Yep.
And you want to launch your business. Like you want to put your voice out in the world, and you want to do it, and you want to be seen, and you really want to help people. Let's say that you think you're a pretty good parent and you want to start like a parenting blog or something like that. And you really want to help people. And you come to me and you're like, I really want to do this. I feel this call to this. I have so much I can offer. But what's going to happen is behind the scenes, you're going to spend way more time going, what should my logo be? What are the colors going to be? And you're going to spend all this time trying to be a perfectionist, trying to get it out there. And then you're going to be thinking about what people are going to think about you. And that's going to stop you. And then you're going to be thinking about, oh my gosh, like what if I put an email out and it has a typo and I get a negative comment?
So you get stuck in perfection, right? You get stuck in trying to get it right.
All that. So you're spending all your time and energy trying to avoid what you don't want. Versus actually going and writing the blog or the book or putting yourself out there. So that's where we fall into our avoidance traps. Avoidance traps are things like fear of rejection, fear of loss of control, fear of upsetting other people, fear of being judged, fear of abandonment, all these kind of things. So we construct our life avoiding what we don't want, and then we never get what we do want because all our energy is about protecting ourselves.
The avoidance. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I was like afraid. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll go speak to people and start teaching workshops. I just need to lose some weight. That's me.
Right.
Like, and I'm like, wait a minute. That is so ridiculous.
Right.
Right. You know, why can't I just be who I am in the moment?
Right.
So I have to coach myself out of it, the avoidance.
Yes. Good. I'm glad you put yourself out on that, because I'd hate for you not to be shining your light because of
Right.
some BS belief.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's what it is. So
Right.
we
But
do.
here's the thing.
Why do we do that though?
Okay, I'll tell you, because what is our brain and ego, or our rational mind? Okay, so pop quiz. What do you think our brain's primary job is?
To protect us?
To keep us alive.
Right. That whole flight or flight. Yeah. Survival thing. Yeah.
So we still have a reptilian brain.
Right.
And it's a part of our brain. Like what's amazing about our brain is there's all these other parts that are magical that we don't tap into enough because we're in fight or flight too much. So anything that's tied, and I don't know about you, but I'm not afraid of being eaten by a tiger tonight. I'm not being chased by a pack of wolves. I'm not afraid someone's going to come in and stab me when I'm sleeping. My basic survival isn't threatened. I know I'm going to have food tonight.
Exactly.
So since we don't have that keeping alive survival skill, our ego has the survival skill of keeping our identity safe.
Wow.
Our ego safe. And so anytime we feel like our safety or protection is threatened, we pull back. We pull back. This is also, P.S., a big reason why a lot of women hold on to weight. So I have so many women that come to my retreats and do my course that have done everything, quote unquote, right. I diet, I exercise, the weight isn't releasing. I don't know what the deal is.
Right.
Usually, not always, but usually, there is some trauma in their background. Mm-hmm. It could be as bad as abuse, or it could be as little as someone teased you when you were in third grade. So when any kind of chaos or trauma happens, the body, the survival skill, the body wants to hide.
Right.
The body wants to be invisible. The brain hears the message, oh, I want to hide, I want to be invisible, I need to protect myself. The body can't make itself invisible. The body can't all of a sudden put like a guard around it.
Right.
So how does the body hide and protect itself?
It works through the brain. Yeah.
And so part of this is just an example of the kind of work I love to do with people is things like weight, or the things that you don't like in your life that are there, the perfectionist strategies or whatever it is, there's a payoff to why they're there. They're serving a purpose.
Yeah, I agree
Making
with that.
them wrong is not how we solve it at all. It's really looking at what are the payoffs of the avoidance traps, the compensatory strategies, the weight, whatever it may be, the people pleasing, all these things. And how can we get them in another way so that our brain doesn't freak out about survival? Because that's the thing, like when I'm just using the weight example because it's a great example.
Right.
When women lose weight, then, and they don't heal the part that has the weight tied to the protection, the weight comes back.
Well, that's what happened to me. I lost a bunch of weight, and I'm an incest survivor, and I remember another sexual abuse memory, and I remember seeing men even 5 years ago look at me, and I gained weight back again. And I remember actually the moment it happened. I remember going, I don't want that attention. I said it to myself consciously, and it still happened.
Yes.
It's quite amazing.
Your body heard you.
Yeah, my body heard
quite
me.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm still working it. But the thing is, I'm still working it. It's messy, right? And it happens, and you kind of have to keep working it, right?
Yes. And my mission, Kelly, is to shorten that time for people.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
I'm signing up.
Yes.
Just because, it's an unconscious choice. And I'm really all about conscious choice. So it would be great. As much as I know I unconsciously chose that, it's still an issue. And everybody has their wound, right?
Right. And that's the frustration part. That's like kind of the why you can't get rid of that thing that you keep struggling with no matter how much awareness you have about it. Because awareness and understanding, it's a step, but it only gets us so far.
Right.
And this was the thing for me as a consummate student and the A+ and overachiever. I just thought I needed more information. I just thought if I just had more information and more understanding, then I'd change it. And what again, like why I'm so passionate about the free masterclass, which will include an invitation into coming into a live course with me. Why I'm so passionate about teaching it is, one, I wanted to give shorten everything down that I've learned over almost 2 decades. And two, like to give people that experience of, you don't need more information. You need tools to experientially shift what's happening inside of you.
Because we all have all the info. It's thrown at us all the time. So these are tools that we can experience and shift that you're giving us.
Yes.
That's a big difference. Does everybody in the community understand that? It's very different than more information overload, right? You're going to actually give us exercises and tools that we can use.
Meditations. You see me, I do a video where I show you how to do anger release work. Like you see me on the floor screaming with a thing, and like I walk you through it.
I love that because I bat. Yes. I bat every day.
Yes. Yeah. I teach you how to do it so it's not just catharsis. So it's actually like
releasing
the emotion. There's meditations. There's all kinds of stuff. And again, there's information in the sense that I'm not just like, saying, here's a tool, go run with it. I teach you how to use it, but it's more teaching you how to use the tools than giving you more concepts, because you don't need that. You need the experiential shifts. That's what we all need. And again, if you're feeling blah, like a lot of reasons why women feel blah is because they got a lot of repressed anger. It's so funny at my retreats. It's the women who are like, I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm not doing this exercise. I'm not angry. They're the ones that end up going off the most. And I'm
Isn't
like,
that
really?
You're not angry? You just, because you're light about it, you're like, really? Are you sure?
Just try. Just see if anything comes up.
Well, I was working with a coach today, and she said, how about we do this exercise where you walk through the chapters in your book and like write this? And I went, I don't want to do that. And she's like, but how about we do it anyways? Yeah, and so that notion of surrender, oh my gosh, it was the best exercise I've ever done. Sometimes when you don't want to do something, you just need to do it, right?
Yep. Yeah. Or like, I've done this before. I know this. Well, it's a different way, like, believe me, I get it. I still have my coach, Brandy. We laugh all the time because sometimes it's just like, she always says to me, coaches are the hardest to coach.
because they can work around, they can finagle.
Yeah, and luckily she's extraordinary, luckily for me. Awesome. And I get so much more value. And I'm saying this for everybody, whether you take my course or somebody else's or whatever. The more you can go in with a beginner's mind and not think you know everything and not think you've done this before, the better it's going to be for you and the more value you're going to get from it.
Because you're always coming from a different perspective. So you could always learn everywhere you go.
And why kids are so great at learning and adaptability is because they don't think they know everything. And they have a curiosity about things. And the more we can go into situations with that curiosity, rather than, I really hope this works. I'm broken. Hope this will be my fix it.
Right.
Why not? I'm curious about what I'm going to learn about myself in this. And
I'm going to be open. Right.
I'm going to be open. Yep.
Yeah. So where can people connect with you and find out more about your podcast and also about this? Obviously, on the free masterclass, we'll have it on this email and on our homepage for a week. So
awesome. Yes. So they can link through you, and I'm sure it'll be in the show notes as well. And then, so the podcast where I coach people live on the air is called Over It and On With It. So just go to your podcast app and download it. The numbered episodes are my life coaching episodes. And then on the weekends, I do little coaches corners where sometimes I'll talk to another thought leader, or I'll just answer listener emails, or there's meditations in there sometimes as well. And then Instagram, which I love, is Christine Hassler. Facebook's Christine Hassler. My website's Christine Hassler. And if you go to my website, you can sign up for my free Over It and On With It assessment, which is a great coaching process I take all my clients through.
That's awesome. So people can work with you on one-on-one. Are you doing that anymore?
I do. Yep, absolutely.
That's fabulous. Oh, I want to work with you again. That'd be great. So you have all the information. Is there anything else you'd like to share? Last piece of advice for everyone?
Yes. So this is the other thing. I'm just feeling your tribe. This is the other thing that I find with high achieving women. Being hard on ourselves is effective. It gets us to do things. If I'm hard on myself and I'm beating myself up about something, it will motivate me to sit down and write that blog or go to the gym or get online and date or whatever it may be.
Right.
However, it is incredibly depleting. And then I'm taking action based on pain. So although it's kind of effective on one level, it's never going to make you fulfilled, and it's never going to create the results that you want to create. So having gentle self-talk isn't just some woo-woo thing. And being kind to yourself isn't about drinking green juice and getting a manicure. Those are great self-care activities.
Thank you. Right.
But really, it's how you speak to yourself. And, I'll ask you, like, if you talk to your friends like you often talk to yourself, would you have any friends? And that's a really important question to ask yourself, and to look at that internal dialogue and find a way. And this is another thing I teach, like, find a way to take action and to create things, to be more of a co-creator than a doer, that don't come from being hard on yourself. Find a way to feel inspired versus motivated and driven. Because I think another reason women feel blasé and feel shut down is because we're too much in our masculine. We don't trust our feminine superpowers.
I was just thinking, being your feminine when you said that. That's great.
Yeah.
Inspiration is different than doing.
It's so different. Inspiration. It's like inside.
Out.
It's a difference. Yeah. It's a difference between, if I was trying to move you, Kelly, I could do two things. I could come behind you and push you, or I could stand in front of you and pull you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And right, doesn't pulling feel so much better?
Yeah.
So it's like we've got to stop pushing ourselves, and really, really, if you take one thing away from me, this has been the biggest game changer in my life, is my relationship with myself, and giving myself not just loving self-talk, but making myself feel safe inside. Like, I trust you, Christine. You're going to be okay. You know what to do. It's okay to speak your truth. It's okay to ask for what you need. It's okay if other people are upset because you made a self-honoring choice. It's okay to invest in yourself. It's okay to say no and not follow it with a justification or explanation. Like,
it's
how we are to others, the mother, the leader, the manager, the coach we are to others, we have got to be that way to ourselves. We've got to.
I love that. And I really resonate with what you're saying, because 10 years ago, I wasn't there, and I feel like I'm there now. And it's so liberating and freeing to be in. I mean, it's all a process, but I feel like I'm so much further along that way, where I don't justify. And I coach myself when I freak out, like, and get in my mess and get in my craziness. I can coach myself in that space, which I think is really important for all of us to learn the tools to do that, because then we can serve the world and ourselves better.
Yeah. Well, and also, and I imagine a lot of your tribe may be moms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and may have older children, like children that are teenagers or maybe even leaving the house. And that's a huge transition for women that I don't think is talked about enough.
Right.
And a lot of, even if you were or are working, but especially if you weren't when you were raising kids, if your job was raising them, there's an identity, I don't want to use the word crisis because that sounds dramatic, but there's this amazing opportunity to start to really like figure out, and remember who you are separate from your role of being a mom. And I think that's scary for a lot of women. It's also incredibly exciting.
It is very exciting. I love it.
Very, very, very exciting. And having some support and some tools around navigating that, I think, is important, because you deserve like your life, you know, and like it's amazing to be a mom and put kids out in the world. And that's not all. That's not.
You're still who you are. You're still you. And I feel that way. I have my last child in my house now. She's a senior in high school. And I feel like, it's like a secret that I'm excited to be an empty nester. It's like this, because we're supposed to be like, oh, I miss the kids. I'm really excited about it.
And part of, I think, why you are is because you have a purpose. You have a mission.
Right.
And that's what I love helping women find. And I'm so pleased. If you're saying it's too late, I'm too old. No. You're far more equipped. You might not know how to make an Instagram profile as well as a 25-year-old, but the wisdom you have and the experience you have, powerful.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. Everybody join Christine in her masterclass and consider listening to her podcast. It's amazing. I've learned so much from your podcast, coaching people. I love hearing you, and I love how you create the space for people to be able to be vulnerable and learn from themselves.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for bringing the brilliance to the messiness and like letting us take down this mask that we're supposed to have it all figured out and be like, fine, feelings inside not expressed.
Exactly. So take care, everyone. And thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
Bye.